John Lusk here of Lusk Archery Adventures. Series testing, successful hunting. Today I'm going to be testing a broadhead that I've gotten a ton of requests to test because it's so unique, and that is the Lone Wolf Arrowhead. Okay, it's made by Lone Wolf. They make really incredible tree stands. Okay, I've been using their tree stands for a while, and I love them. And now they're taking this this foray into the broadhead market, and they have this really unique design. Okay, check this thing out. So in just a minute here, we're going to zoom on in here and go through some of the design features and specifications, and then I'm going to put it to the test using my regimen for 2023. And for a description of that, you can watch the video that I posted earlier this year. I think it's called 2023 Broadhead Test Process or something like that, or you can read about it in the description box right below this video. And I'm using my Bowtech CP28 set at 72 pounds. I'm using Bishop FOC King arrows for most of the shots, but then for the really hard impact ones, I'm using the Bishop Thad Eliminator. So let's zoom on in here and check out this broadhead by Lone Wolf and then put it to the test. Here's a good look at this head, and man, there's all kinds of unique things going on here. I've never seen another broadhead like it. Okay, you notice first of all that it's just one piece construction, but unlike a lot of other heads, it's not one piece of steel. This is one piece of aluminum, and it's one piece of 6061 aluminum, which isn't the strongest aluminum, but is still pretty strong aluminum. Now, the strength of a broadhead doesn't just come from its materials, it also comes from its geometric design, like it's, how thick it is, and its structural integrity can really be affected. You could have a super high quality steel, but if it has a really crummy design to it, then it could break. Or you could have something made out of aluminum that with a really stout design could be really durable. So I'm eager to see if this will be durable like that or not, given that it's all aluminum. But being all aluminum, the advantage is it allows the broadhead to be a lot thicker than it would be able to be at this weight of 100 grains. If it were made out of steel, it would be a couple hundred grains at least, maybe 250 or something, if this were all solid steel. So it's just 3 blades, but the blades are so thick. Like if you look at it there, you see how thick that is? At the base, the blades are 0.22 inches. Okay, think about that, 0.22 inches. There's broadheads where the blades are 0.022 inches. These are 0.22 inches. That's some of the thickest blades I've ever seen. And what that's going to do, by design, the intent is to create an incredible wound channel as well as provide some structural durability. But instead of just cutting a neat little slit, I mean, it's taking a chunk out of the tissue, whatever it hits, and creating a wound channel that'll be really difficult to close up. So it's displacing a lot of tissue. Relatively short overall design, feels relatively sharp, got a super sharp tip, and then the backs are sharpened here as well to make it a little bit easier to pull out of a target, or if it's embedded in an animal as the animal's moving, this is cutting as well. And if the arrow is backing out of an animal as it moves, then it's going to be cutting as it backs out. So like I said, it's 6061 aluminum, but then it's got this hard coat of anodized coating over it, and so that's going to give it a little extra durability. They say the coating has a rock roll hardness of about 60, whereas the aluminum itself is about 45 to 50. So I don't know how durable it's going to be. I don't know how durable that coating really is, and then what happens when it rubs off a little bit on the edge. I just have no idea, but I'm very intrigued by this broadhead. I really like the looks of the wound channel that it's going to generate, and I'm eager to put it to the test. It took 350 grams of force to cut through the wire, which is an 8.5 on a 10-point scale. It penetrated 7 1/4 inches. It took an additional 225 grams of force to cut through the wire, which is a 5.5 on a 10-point scale. It cut through 55 layers. The head's in excellent shape after the 3 shots through the MDF. And here it is after the 2 shots through the steel plate. As you can see, the tip got pretty blunted there, and the blades got really dulled. But structurally, it held together fine. And you can see the holes. It made 3 really nice holes. They're not just a circular wound channel with 3 slits, but they really are 3 triangular holes due to the extra thick blades. So here it is after all the durability tests. Now, after the steel plate, the edges got really dulled from that. I mean, super dulled. And the tip got really rounded from that. But structurally, it held together extremely well and stuck very deeply into the concrete. Still spins very true. So what did you think of this broadhead? Man, I tell you, it has some real unique strengths to it. And I love it whenever somebody comes out with something different and tries some innovation, because, I mean, that's what makes broadheads evolve. Somebody tries something and maybe they, hit it dead center and you're like, oh, this is the best thing. Or maybe it spurs on something else. Some things I really like about it is I like the amount of tissue it displaces. I like the wound channel that it's going to generate. Even though it's not super wide, man, it's going to create some wounds that are going to be difficult to close up. And I like the idea of trying something in a different material, okay, in this case, aluminum. So I like a lot of that ingenuity. But in terms of like real performance, when it comes to sharpness, edge retention, durability. Okay, I love the structural integrity of it, but just the edge durability, the tip durability, in those areas it proved to be wanting. So I can imagine it's going to really put an animal down, okay, if you hit it in a good spot. But in terms of prolonged usage and resharpening and so forth, I think you're going to have some challenges with it. So I applaud Lone Wolf for coming up with a really creative design in the first place. And you check out the score sheet to see how it did in the areas that matter to you the most and see if this broadhead might be a good fit for you.